He has run from Istanbul to London before. He was buried alive for a week.
For a week?
For a week, and ran the fastest marathon pulling a car.
Who is this man?
Had a lot of comments about your encounter with the alligator recently.
Where'd you hear those?
My mom and dad were in town this weekend. My mom was quite frightened by it.
Ah, sorry, Fran.
I know.
He's
still, Alan's the safe one. He's looking out for me, always.
Yeah, I'm the safe one looking out for Joe, and then I almost got...
Yeah, I would never put myself in danger of a crocodile or an alligator. That's crazy.
Right, maybe not even on a surfboard, which is a little sketchier than a kayak. Probably not, though.
Your kayak was pretty open. Might as well have been a surfboard with your legs dangling in the water behind like bait.
Right, yeah. So nothing was dangling in the water on my kayak.
Even though it did think you were a nice male alligator.
I don't know what it thought, man. It wanted to fight, though, for sure. Fight or something. Glad it didn't.
But no more camping this weekend? You're at a wedding, right?
Yep, no more camping. Went to a wedding this weekend. It was a lot of fun. Had a good time. After the wedding, we went back to the hotel, and they had a hotel bar, and most everybody from the wedding was at the bar.
Uh-huh.
And we pulled up with a giant speaker and just blasted our own music, brought our own drinks, and they just shut down the hotel bar and let us do whatever we wanted.
So they basically just gave you a room to hang out in.
We took over, it was in the hotel lobby, and we stayed till 2 a.m. just blasting music and dancing.
Where was this?
Tampa.
That's wild.
Like every 20 minutes, I would just look at Elaine and be like, nobody's stopping us.
No,
We
they
can do
want
whatever
us
we
here.
want here. There's no rules.
There's no rules. That's hilarious.
Oh, also this weekend, I made it out even at the casino.
Ooh. Does that mean you bet $0, or is this
Yes.
a record for Alan?
It means I took out $100 and I kept it in my wallet. And I watched everybody else lose money, and I was like, because we went to the Hard Rock in Miami, and I unfortunately lost $100 in like 3 turns when I was with you. But this time we were Hard Rock Tampa, and I was like, I'm not doing that again. Let me just be smart about it and watch. And then everybody was losing, and I was like,
I mean,
you know what?
You obviously would have had it last time if it wasn't for the minimums.
The minimums suck. The minimums, you have to have money to be able to play, and I didn't have nearly.
You didn't have the
enough money
unlimited ammo to be able to pour in.
No, if you have unlimited ammo, it's fine. But if you have a $10 minimum and you're betting multiple bets on the same
with the $30
game,
limit.
Yeah, like you're betting $40, $30 a game. That's gonna last you 2-3 hands. So it just screwed up my whole strategy, and I just kept. Well, not kept. I only did it a couple of times because it's all I had.
The last turn, you easily took 10 minutes just staring at the screen, roulette on a screen.
Right. Well, I was trying to figure out what I needed to do. I was running the algorithm in my head. You seen The Hangover with Alan, where he has the numbers.
Yeah,
that was what I was doing.
This Alan was just working the numbers. They were flying out.
Except that doesn't work in roulette. You can't count the cards because it's totally random. Also, the roulette game they were playing had worse odds because
the 2 greens.
It had 3 greens.
Oh,
that's terrible odds. I mean, it doesn't change it by all that much, but I mean, the grand scheme of things, over and over, it does change it. So, yeah, not great.
You're in the right there.
Yeah, so I was just like, let me not give any of my money.
Let me learn. Let me stop funding this. I like that.
Not that I've lost that much money in my life at a casino. Less than $1,000. So
way less
over my entire life.
I think it's like 100-ish, 200 max.
Over my whole life?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, it sounds way cooler to say 1,000.
Oh, it's less than $10,000.
It's less than $1 million, easy.
Yeah, it's easily less than $1 million.
It's also like less than 100.
Only 200. How was your weekend?
Dude, it was good. My parents came up. It's like, I think the 3rd time they've been up to Richmond. So we just hung out with them. I was moving out of my other studio office. So I got out of there, which was nice.
Ooh, where did you go to?
Here. And then I've got one other client's office downtown that I'm working out of for the other stuff I'm doing. So save a little bit of cash, all that thing.
Oh, yeah. Cash for the trip.
Cash for the trip. Cash for Undrafted to keep it going forever and ever and ever.
Should we tease the trip a little bit?
Ooh, what should we tease, though? Okay, so we've already said there's travel content coming. Podcast as a whole, let's start there. It started out, it was a podcast about a little bit of everything. Realize there's no niche. You start posting on social media. You narrow down. We realized football season's exciting. Love football season. we looked up and we're like, we're a sports podcast and never really meant to be a just sports podcast. And had feedback from other people too that were like, it's good, but it's just a lot of sports stuff now. And so took a little evaluation of where we're at right now and realized that all along what we've wanted was adventure, entertainment, and sports, and finding kind of that intersection of all of them. So it's not going to be the analysis heavy, recap heavy sports podcast that it's been at times. We're going to mix it up with other stuff. So that's one of the starts. Adventure, the goal all along has been to take trips with guests one day when they come on the pod. And that's what we've been teasing. We're going to be going on our own adventures in May/June.
Might be overseas.
Might be overseas. And it might keep growing in length.
You never know.
You never know.
So have to
So
wait and see.
we're even one of our topics today. We've got obviously we're going to be talking about women's college basketball national championship, men's, and then our old man Iceman last week, I think it was last week, talked about the hardest geezer, Russ Cook, and his journey running across the continent of Africa, which is absolutely insane. But he finished it on 2 days ago. As we're recording, it's Tuesday right now, and he finished it on Sunday.
Ooh.
So we're gonna talk about that some, bringing another adventure topic into this, more entertainment, all of these things.
That's hype. I'm excited to start talking about some adventuring, start doing some adventuring.
Mm-hmm.
And on another note, I only have a week left of physical job work.
Woo!
Let's go.
My man has earned this.
So taking a little sabbatical, take some time off to adventure, work on the pod a little more. It's going to be big.
You're about to spend your entire summer, more or less, in and by summer, I mean like half your summer,
Oh,
but
you
still.
just said, dude, you weren't supposed
Oh,
to.
you're right.
Yeah, I'm probably going to have the best summer that anybody has ever had. That's the plan. So high standard to live up to. It's coming, dude. It's going to be an awesome summer.
And we're gonna harness that. We're gonna leverage it for amazing content for you all to enjoy. So stay tuned. Get
Not only
invested
am
in
I
that.
going to have fun, Joe's going to have fun. Y'all are going to have fun listening.
We're all
It's
gonna
be
have
awesome.
fun.
gonna
What
be
was
awesome.
pretty well? First off, not fun. You haven't complimented my haircut yet. I clipped the hairs. No comment.
You haven't complimented
Your haircut. Yeah, that's
So,
true. Both of our haircuts
nice
are
haircut,
nice.
Joe.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I got it cut. I walked upstairs, and Caitlin was like, "Ooh, great! I love your haircut." And I turned to the side, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's kind of like a little faux hawk back there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm walking straight up. She's like, "Ooh, I like it." And I turn, and she goes, never mind."
Did you do that on purpose?
Yeah, I did it on purpose. I thought it was fun. I went to my barber. He's super chill. I was like, "Here's what I'm thinking. I don't know if it'll work or not, but like, it's low risk. If I don't like it, I cut it off." So
Right.
I think it's pretty fun. She did not.
Turn
think
to
it
the
was
side
fun.
one more time. You got to grow it out like that, dude.
That's what I'm thinking. She said,
Nice.
and I quote, "It's just not that professional."
We're
That's
amateurs,
not my thing.
Caitlin. We're literally amateurs.
Amateurs.
Come on, Caitlin. What are you doing?
But anyway,
Let my man live.
trying to live. But anyway, beside that, just kind of was chilling. Watched a good bit of baseball this weekend. Braves unfortunately losing last night. Dude, they just keep coming back though. Their offense is looking nice. The series against the Diamondbacks was obviously two great comebacks. One thought I had though, I kind of like the Diamondbacks bringing the teal, but then I kind of go back and forth on it. I don't know if you've seen their new uniforms that they released.
I haven't, actually.
It's still the Sedona red and the black, but they brought back the teal from the old Diamondbacks. And so it outlines their A players' sleeves, gloves, all that kind of stuff is in the teal again too. Outlines their numbers.
Ooh. I'm
I
looking at it
think
right
I
now.
like it. I think I like it.
It looks a little Christmassy.
Christmassy.
You know, like red and teal, red and green.
I mean, it's a little too blue for what I was thinking Christmas, but I like it.
Yeah, a little Christmassy for me.
A
but
little
I
Christmassy.
I kind of like it. I like their old stuff, man.
Oh,
Like,
dude, the teal and purple.
yeah, the purple and teal. That's
was-
such a good color combo.
That stuff was crisp.
Yeah, but those look kind of cool.
There's just a little bit of a movement right now of teams adding like secondary, tertiary color back in. The Braves are doing it with their yellow. And they've always
Right.
had it in the, I guess, stitching of the tomahawk, but that's coming back. Buddy texted me after the South Carolina Women's Basketball National Championship. Yes, I'm going to try to say that as many times as I can this podcast. Shout out Dallas if you're listening. But he was like, when do y'all start doing yellow? Are you trying to be fake USC? And of course, Kaki's feet, hands, whatever, they've always been yellow, but bringing it back. So I don't know. I feel like people just want a little bit of variety mixing up in the uniforms, maybe.
Yeah. If you look at a Gamecock, there is yellow on it. So we've always had yellow there. It's never been one of our colors. I don't hate it. It does, though, kind of remind me of McDonald's in a way.
Or fake USC.
Yeah, I don't even think of fake USC ever.
Yeah, dude, it is so out of my mind. I don't
Unless
even
somebody
care
else brings it
about
up,
them.
I'd never think about them. But I do think about McDonald's sometimes because I drive by it, and that is the color scheme of McDonald's. So,
Well, they've done studies, that red and yellow is like food and hospitality in people's mind. Color psychology.
Hunger is what won that natty. Is that what we're saying?
Mm-hmm.
It was the hunger.
Dude, I can't wait to talk about that. Did you watch any of the eclipse?
No, my parents drove from South Carolina to Indiana to watch it, actually. And they found like a sweet field by a church and watched it. And they sent me pictures and it looked awesome.
So they got 2 total eclipses because they got the one in South Carolina.
Yeah, well,
Was
my
that
dad saw the
2017,
one in South
2018?
Carolina. My mom had to work, and so she didn't get to see it. So that's why he wanted to take her up for it.
That's kind of sick.
But yeah, it looked awesome. They had like the clearest day. I was happy they got to see it like that. Did you see the first one, the one in Columbia?
Yeah.
Dude,
That
it was
just
so cool.
Pitch black dark outside midday. Wild.
Yeah. And I don't know if you could see, but where you watched it, but the whole horizon, it just looks like sunrise or sunset all the way around, like not even just on one side. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, it was so cool the first time.
Yeah.
This time it just felt like a really cloudy day and came back. But it was cool still.
Right. Oh, did you see it this time?
Yeah, Caitlin tried the little trick where you've got a paper plate and you poke a hole through it and you're supposed to be able to see how much of the eclipse going past. I just kind of squinted and looked up at the sun. Apparently that's
you
bad.
looked at it, dude?
Yeah, apparently. Whatever. I'm fine. I can still see.
Dude,
Everyone's saying you got to buy the special sunglasses and you can't just stack other sunglasses. All the people that are selling you sunglasses.
Well, I
say
mean,
that.
you didn't even use sunglasses, sounds like. You just use your eyelids?
And then I looked away. It was just a brief moment. I just looked up.
You just
right
eclipsed
before.
your eyelids with your eyes with your eyelids?
Exactly.
That's, as a medical professional, I cannot condone.
Cannot condone. Is it actually a big deal? Am I going to go blind? Maybe.
I mean, probably not,
Exactly.
but there's no guarantee.
There's no guarantee that the little glasses everyone's selling you worked either. Probably. actually.
That's something we need to talk about. Who approved those? I didn't.
Mm-mm.
I don't
That's
know.
crazy.
Yep. You don't know those were. We should have made some.
Undrafted ones. The amateur part of it is they're just regular sunglasses.
The amateur part is they don't do
the
anything.
process.
They're just clear glasses. They actually make it worse.
It's a magnifying glass. So it's just like sparking back.
Burns a hole.
We're starting a fire here. My brother, though, he bought, I guess, a special lens or an ND filter or something for his camera last time in South Carolina when there was one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to actually throw the picture up. Shout out, Benj. It
You
looks
should.
sweet. No, because he got this picture of it. It came out pretty good. So anyone who didn't see it, you can look at this or just Google it. It's readily
That
available.
works too.
But this one, we've got a connection. It's cool.
Oh yeah. You mentioned something earlier about driving to Target. What happened?
Oh, man. I was just trying to be a sweet, good husband and pick up. So I was at the gym. Then I was dropping off the keys. It's not that big of a deal. We're a pretty good vibe podcast, but I am so impatient when it comes to driving. All of my pet peeves. I could do a pet peeve every single episode about driving.
You should.
But was coming back down Broad Street for anyone in Richmond, was turning into the Target. They were doing road work or setting up to do road work in the middle lane. And there's a left turn lane to turn into Target. And then keep in mind too, there like every single aisle of the parking lot of Target comes out to this road. So you can turn in like 4 different places. There's the light, you get an arrow to turn in. So I get to the light. I wait like 4 light cycles. Like 1 or 2 cars are coming through. And then everyone's waiting to turn into the first aisle instead of going past it. So only like 2 cars get through every light cycle here. Get in. Target pickup's great. I'm in and out. Or like I just drive up, text them, I'm doing a return and a pickup. Then get back. Same thing at the light. I spent 18 minutes at that light to when I got back to the light, and it was less than a minute and a half in the Target parking lot. Over 15 minutes waiting on this light. Just because people do not know how to drive. And no one, almost no one, this is what drives me crazy, has like any awareness of the other drivers. Like all it takes is if you're trying to get to the light fast, why don't I go down a little bit farther and turn in the parking lot here so that more cars can come through instead of me stopping, one more car coming behind me and going. No one thinks like that. It drives me nuts. I did though. On my turn, I kept going.
Right.
Dang. It's dumb.
18 minutes.
18 minutes.
You're never going to get back.
18
Did you
minutes.
at least listen to some good music while you're doing it?
I did, but then I got mad and turned
Or a
it
good
off.
podcast?
I was listening to Undrafted Amateurs, reviewing the game film.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Anyway, it wasn't that big of a deal, but at the time when I was telling you about it, I was fired up. I came in,
Right.
Caitlin's like, "Do you want to like take some deep breaths right now?" I'm like, "No, don't want that."
Dude, sometimes I get really, really mad on the road, and sometimes I'm just totally don't care. I'll either be driving 100 miles an hour or I'm driving under the speed limit. I don't know. It doesn't make, Elaine's like, doesn't make any sense at all. I never know what
It averages out though. You know?
It's just my mood. Like if I'm listening to some good music and I'm chilling, I could be going 50 and 60. But if I'm listening to some good music and I'm chilling, I could also be going 100.
There's parts about that where I get, and I'm a little bit with you, but what just sets me off every time are just when people are completely oblivious to everyone else when they're driving.
Right.
That like I could be in a good mood and then I just watch some driver do something incredibly dumb and then immediately I get impatient. I need to work on it, but I don't want to say that I want to work on my patience because the only way to grow in your patience is being put in situations that you would normally be impatient for. And I don't really want that.
Work. I don't want to work on patience. We'll pass up on that.
No. I know I need to, but we're going to stop there.
Yeah,
So.
right. I'm not going to put that on me.
No, none of that.
Can't do it.
Oh, well, I guess we got Florida Man. Are you doing the Florida Man or are you having any other games or what's the plan for this episode?
So I looked into Florida Man. I didn't find anything I liked, but I do have a topic that I would like to bring up.
Ooh.
And since you want to keep bringing this argument up
I know
off the pod, I want to bring it back on the pod. Batman, Jason Bourne, John Wick. Go. Do your worst.
Okay, what's the criteria? Because we've talked about hand-to-hand combat. That's
what we're talking about.
Okay,
Batman,
John
Jason
Wick
Bourne.
is in a different category from these two. It's recency bias. He gets bailed out and everything. Batman and John Bourne. Batman and Jason Bourne are both in a league above John Wick.
That's crazy. You could no.
Okay,
Nope.
Do you not agree that Batman's in a league above John Wick?
Yes, and so
And when is the last time you've seen Jason Bourne?
that doesn't matter. When's the last time you saw John Wick?
I've seen all of them in the last year.
Okay, that doesn't sound super recent.
When's the last time you've seen Jason Bourne?
That doesn't matter.
Yes, recency bias.
I don't join in on the recency bias thing. If you've looked at my football drafts, it's almost always older people.
Well, you need to remind yourself how much of a beast Jason Bourne is.
I know he's a
insane.
beast, but John Wick is invincible.
So is Jason Bourne. And actually, you haven't seen the last John Wick. I have. Watch it, and he's not. Spoiler alert. It's been out long enough.
He's getting old.
So is Jason Bourne.
The main argument we've been having is Batman or Jason Bourne.
Okay, but
I think that argument is ridiculous.
Which is why I'm trying to say, can we at least take Jason or John Wick off and then have the argument of Jason Bourne?
No, because I think John Wick and Jason Bourne are comparable.
Jason Bourne
But I'm going to ride with John Wick.
Master of hand-to-hand combat. Plus, he is way better at evasion. So if there's anything that he can get away and come back and like element of surprise, John Wick is just he has like the durability factor cranked up because he can just take it and then live every time that he should have died. But he gets bailed out constantly. And he's like a good fighter and he just shoots people. Jason Bourne is able to shoot people when he needs to. He's able to put people out, leave them alive when he needs to. He's able to kill them with hand-to-hand combat. He's literally in like the last movie, he's just fighting for fun as a living. Hand-to-hand combat.
Okay, that doesn't mean anything. The fact that he fights for fun.
I'm
like
saying
you could say that about a lot of people. All right.
Okay.
Here's my argument.
Come at me.
They're literally the same idea. Jason Bourne and John Wick are one and the same.
No, what?
It's so similar that it's
how
you can't. What do you mean how?
One is a government assassin that leaves the assassin life,
Right.
like John Wick. I get that.
And one's a bad guy assassin.
Yes. One is the
That
OG,
leaves the bad guy life,
Jason
and all
Bourne.
the bad guys in the world are after him.
The
Jason
plot
Bourne
lines,
has all the good guys in the world after him.
And bad guys.
Okay. Well, John Wick has everybody in the world that wants to make money after him. There's literally a price on his head for the entire world.
There's Jason Bourne is literally on every like news and printed out on the most wanted, like every single person.
John Wick dings on everybody's phone immediately after he gets exiled or whatever.
Yeah, to all the assassins' phones.
Yeah, that would suck. It's like everybody in the movie. It's seriously like every other person is an assassin.
Right, which is obviously
All right,
ridiculous.
so we're arguing about nothing right now.
Okay.
There's
Back
no
to Batman,
difference
Batman
between
and
the
Bourne.
two.
There is.
There's no
Go
difference between
watch.
John Wick.
Okay, go watch Jason Bourne.
Not enough.
Go watch Jason Bourne, and then we can actually have a conversation about Jason Bourne versus John Wick.
I'm about to
Right
make
now, we're going
highlight
off your like 10-year-old memory of Jason Bourne and your current memory of John Wick. I'm going off my review of both of them the last year.
Nah, I'm not
Okay,
giving you that.
okay, whatever.
No, not at all.
Batman-
No, I think
Batman versus
I think
Jason
you
Bourne.
could make an argument that they're even. You can make an argument that John Wick's better than. I mean, Jason Bourne's better than John Wick.
How can you make
I
an
think-
argument though that John Wick's better than Jason Bourne?
Literally the same argument, just flipped.
How? Go.
Because they're so similar that I think you.
One was the
either you
OG.
could- I
John
think it's
Wick
like
is a cheap knockoff of Jason Bourne.
No, dude.
Yes, it's a cheap ripoff of Jason Bourne.
All right. I guess if you say they are so similar that you could probably say since Jason Bourne was first that John Wick's a knockoff.
All right,
It's a different story.
Batman
but
versus Bourne.
It's literally there's so many movies like with that same story.
Yeah, but the intricacies, the things that Jason Bourne does versus the brute John Wick.
What's wrong with the brute?
Jason Bourne's
force.
just way more clever. Watch the way that he actually evades. John Wick just walks through every wall. Jason Bourne's creative about it and can still
if you're
walk through it.
going hand to hand combat, wouldn't you rather have a brute than somebody that's like sneaking around?
But what if
I
someone
want
who
somebody
has
that's
this,
gonna come in-
both skill sets? Has both skill sets.
You just said John Wick had more brute force.
I said that that's the only way he goes about it. I don't know. We might have to roll the tapes back. I thought what I said was that he just goes straight through it. Jason Bourne generally goes around it, but then also can go through it.
I think they're way too similar. The main argument I want to make is Batman is leagues above Jason Bourne
How?
in hand-to-hand combat.
Because of the League of Shadows?
Yes, he defeats the entire League of Shadows hand-to-hand. No weapons. Batman doesn't even use weapons. He uses tools and things sometimes, but if you're going hand-to-hand, I don't see anybody beating Batman. What's your argument?
Here's the thing. I love Batman.
Right.
I think they would just keep fighting forever. I think it's a wash.
answer.
I know. I mean,
Well,
I could,
it probably would happen
I
because
could
Batman wouldn't kill him.
and Jason Bourne doesn't want to kill him either. They recognize they're both ballers. I could
but-
concede that in hand to hand, Batman could get the edge. I also think Jason Bourne he's pretty solid hand to hand. I think we're
he's
sleeping
solid,
on that.
but I'll take the win on that one because he did just concede it, and that's what we've been arguing the entire time.
But if we're talking about well rounded, Jason Bourne is leagues above Batman.
well rounded at what? Because I really want to hear what you have
He
to say.
could save
This
Gotham
is-
City twice as fast as Batman. If he wanted
Dude,
to.
if you're taking everything into account, you're going to tell me Jason Bourne is
Dude,
better than
imagine
Batman,
if Jason
including,
Bourne
like,
had the
all
Batcave and the funds, the backing of Wayne
But he
Enterprises.
doesn't. He doesn't. He's not smart enough.
He's not smart enough.
Bruce Wayne invented all that stuff. It's not like he just is buying it from somebody else. It's literally his stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to co-invent something when you have billions of dollars.
Okay, it's not my fault that Jason Bourne's broke.
He can survive that way. And he uses guns. Sometimes those are necessary.
Batman broke his back.
Shouldn't
and he
have broke his
climbed
back.
out of the hole. What do you call that place?
You don't like the amnesia argument?
That's so different.
You're trying to bring injuries and physical ailments into this.
You brought up the fact that Jason Bourne. I brought up the fact that Jason Bourne is broke. And you said that's kind of like one of his strengths, I guess. Somehow you flipped it. I said Batman broke his back. Broke. They're both broke. Batman broke his back, but he still got
Look at
out.
you and
No
your
problem.
wordplay. We're never going to get anywhere. Okay, here's how we're going to end
You already
this.
conceded.
I conceded that I could see Batman winning. Here's the other thing we got to leave with, though. You've got to watch the Bourne movies. They're starting to feel a little bit dated, but watch Jason Bourne. Watch this man's game film.
I mean, I've seen him.
I know, but you need to go back with the lens of
apparently.
how much of a baller he is. Watch him besides John Wick. It is blasphemy that you are comparing John Wick and Jason Bourne. That's all I've got to say.
I don't think so, man.
That's crazy.
All right, I'm about
That's
to bring
crazy.
in another factor into this.
All right.
Boxing. Since you're so high on, no, that's
Jason
yeah,
Bourne
let's do
knows
boxing.
like every single different type of hand-to-hand combat.
All right. You're huge on Jason Bourne. Jason Bourne, Rocky. Who's winning?
Jason Bourne. Hands down.
All right, your
Hands-
argument
dude, he
is toast,
is.
bro. Your argument's toast.
Dude, the man could
Rocky beat Apollo Creed, Drago,
Jason Bourne.
Clubber Lang.
Jason
Jason
Bourne
Bourne's
could
a little
take
boy
punches.
compared to them.
Jason Bourne could take punches until he was like, all right, I'm done playing that, and then knock Rocky out in 0.2 milliseconds.
You must have never seen Rocky, dude.
I love Rocky, but Jason Bourne's
All right, Rocky and Batman. Who's winning in a boxing match?
Rocky. If it's just boxing.
So you think Rocky's beating Batman, but Jason Bourne's beating Rocky?
I've heard it both ways.
I really want people to engage on this. I need to know your answer.
And
We can even knock out John Wick. Batman or Jason Bourne? Who's winning? Hand to hand? Who's winning all around? I need to know your answer because this is important. We have to know this answer.
And people
We need
to
this.
go back and watch the OG Jason Bourne. They forget about
That's
it.
your only argument. That's not.
No,
that's
it's
not
just
flying super well.
if I'm having an argument with someone who is familiar with one and is unfamiliar with the other, they're going to lean towards the side they're familiar with.
I'm familiar.
Well, I'm saying like other people too. Like on
Oh,
TikTok,
right.
if we post this video on TikTok to a bunch of, I don't know, high schoolers or college kids who have never seen Jason Bourne, of course I'm going to say Batman. That's my point.
Right. Well, and it's also the right answer.
Whatever. I'm heated now. Nah, it's fun though. You do need to watch Bourne. They're so good. There might actually be a sixth
Dude,
one coming
I've seen them.
out. Again, they're time for a rewatch. That's all I'm saying.
We might have to bring Chuck Norris into this at some point because I'm curious if you think Jason Bourne could take. You probably think he could beat all these guys at the same time.
A draft of it's like a cage fight, and we're picking
Ooh.
our people in a cage fight.
Yeah, we should definitely do that.
That would be fun.
That would be fun. And somebody that is probably slightly underrated in this scenario, the hardest geezer. I don't know if y'all remember Iceman's Unsung Hero from a couple weeks ago. The hardest geezer was the guy who ran the length of Africa. I don't know about his fighting skills, but if you can run the length of Africa, you can probably do just about anything. So,
Dude, I can't wait to talk about this guy more later.
yeah,
Friggin' legend is all I gotta say about the hardest geezer. But
crazy.
that was a killer Iceman from last week. So let's see what Trey's got for us this week.
What's up, everybody? This week's Unsung Hero goes out to Ronell Blanco of the Houston Astros. Last week, Alan mentioned during the 2-minute drill that Ronell Blanco had thrown the first no-hitter of the MLB season for 2024 for the Houston Astros. Yeah, we really don't like giving the Astros their credit, but this one is pretty darn good. You see, Ronell Blanco grew up like many Dominican kids playing ball, and he was pretty good as a fielding player. But at the age of 14, 15, 16, you really know if you're going to make it. And most kids will even sign a major league deal or minor league deal by that point. You see, Ronell decided that he was going to switch to pitching at the age of 18. 18. He had never pitched before until 18, where most kids were already bagging it in if they hadn't made it at that point. You see, and so for the next 4 years, he goes absolutely through grinding every chance he had. Workouts for the Pirates, the Yankees, people turning him down. And at 22, Ronell Blanco, as a pitcher, found himself working at a car wash in the Dominican Republic. However, he kept on working. And Ronell Blanco, at 22, gets a call from the Houston Astros where he gets to sign a $5,000 deal, big money, to go and start in the minor leagues. For the next 7 years, Ronel Blanco has grinded it out, and until the age of 29, never appeared on a major league roster. Ronel Blanco last year gets called up for the Astros in low ways into the season, makes 7 starts, and immediately gets sent back down to AAA. It just isn't happening for him. And so at 29, he's really got to do some looking at, is this the best path for him moving forward? But he kept working. And this spring, he went into spring training and went nuts. In 4 starts, Ronel Blanco started throwing darts, and he had 0 earned runs, a 10.39 K per 9 inning, and batters were hitting a whopping 118 against him. So Ronel Blanco had figured it out, clearly. And as Alan mentioned last week, he gets into the starting rotation with a sweet moment. On the last day of spring training, Ronel Blanco is about to leave the mound in his last start. And the manager comes out to him and tells him that he's made the opening day roster. And he just comes off and he can't contain it, beaming with pride, only to be trumped by the fact that that day his daughter was also born. So he became a dad and made a major league roster after almost a decade of grinding and the same day. As he comes into the major league season, he gets his chance. And he goes out there and what does he do? Just throws a no-hitter. That's pretty darn good. And Ronel Blanco puts his name as cemented in the Good Vibes Hall of Fame by having one of the best months on record, making a major league roster after a lifelong grind and becoming a dad. Here's to you, Ronel Blanco. You're this week's unsung hero.
Ooh, I love this.
Awesome.
Because he went on to throw, I think, like 5 or so more no-hitter innings because he started the year off with 14 plus, I think, no-hit innings, which is nuts. And I didn't even know his story when I saw that. I was just like, that's an awesome
I didn't either. Have you watched any of his games yet?
No, just the highlights from it.
I haven't either. Dude, he looks just like he's got some nasty stuff.
Dude, he's looking good.
Hades on the Astros.
Hate it. But Iceman's been crushing it, dude.
Yeah, dude, he has.
I appreciate it.
A lot of feel-good stuff lately. It's well after that rant he had with the NIT.
Yeah.
It's been all feel-good stuff since then. But
it's what we
that was
needed,
good.
though.
That was much needed.
Sometimes you need a little kick in the rump. That's the kind of motivation, feel good you need. It doesn't feel good at the time, but it leads to a better result. So,
Agreed.
All right. 2-minute drill. I'll go ahead. Let's start the clock here. So obviously more to come on this, but South Carolina became the 10th undefeated champion in women's college basketball history, getting their revenge on Caitlin Clark and Iowa just 1 year after Iowa beat them in the Final Four, ending USC's previous attempt at a perfect season. The game reportedly had an average of 18.7 million viewers and a peak of 24 million, which makes it the most watched basketball game, NBA or college, since 2019.
Sheesh. In the men's championship, UConn pulled away from Purdue in a somewhat lopsided game to become back-to-back champions. They're only the 8th program to win consecutive titles, and they have now won 6 championships since 1999. Maybe the best team of the new century.
Blue blood.
While we're on the topic of college ball, it's worth noting that a couple weeks ago we talked about Coach Cal and the likelihood that he was probably going to stay at Kentucky. Well, now he's off to Arkansas. He's finalizing a 5-year deal with the Razorbacks, and he reportedly gave Kentucky the chance to match the contract, but they rejected it.
And I'm kind of sad about this one, actually. But after this season, the Oakland A's will move to Sacramento and play in a AAA park for the next 3 to 4 years until their planned park in Vegas is built. But fun baseball news, one of the favorites from this pod, Ellie De La Cruz, hit a 450-foot bomb and then less than 2 innings later had an inside-the-park home run where he ran the bases in less than 15 seconds.
Wow, you're going to have to talk about that some more. And then finally, right after we recorded last week's episode where we were arguing about the best skill players in the AFC East, Stephon Diggs got sent to Houston in an interesting deal that involves a $30 million dead cap hit for the Bills, and then the Texans eliminating the final 3 years of Diggs' contract, which allows him to be a free agent after next season.
Boom. Little time to spare.
Yeah.
UConn, South Carolina, that's coming later. Coach Cal, don't really need to talk about that.
I'm kind of excited
about
for him
Arkansas.
to go to Arkansas, actually. Arkansas just seems like we went out to Arkansas last year for football game.
Yeah, and honestly, we loved it. It was pretty sweet.
It was awesome. I thought it was going to be I don't even know what I thought it was going to be, but it was much better than I thought. The area was awesome. Everybody seems to really care about the Razorbacks. I feel like they deserve a good program in there.
Maybe
So,
like second behind South Carolina.
one day we'll,
One day.
but not right now.
I love this though. The Ellie De La Cruz, like power and speed combo, 450-foot bomb, nuts. And then inside the park home run, which are one of my favorite things that happen in baseball now.
I love that.
So fun. And then it was like 14.96 seconds. Dude is hollow.
14 points. Jeez. If anybody is going to match what Acuna did last year, it's probably going to be De La Cruz.
Yeah. Like who could be a member of the 40-70 club?
Yeah. I think
Acuna's up
if
to
anybody, it's going to be De La Cruz. He's got power, speed. He's just like electric to watch.
He's
Awesome.
really fun. He's got a cannon too.
Yeah.
Dude, he's fun.
And did you see that he learned English this offseason? And they were asking him about it. And he was like, yeah, I just really wanted to be able to communicate with my teammates and like all the fans, like, so you actually know what I'm saying.
Whoa.
And he said I heard his English and it was actually like really solid. Like it wasn't perfect by any means, but for somebody that knew hardly any English a year ago,
That's awesome.
he like just hankered down. He said he was talking to his teammates like all in English to try to like really try to learn. And it's impressive, man.
Man, that's cool. I like him a lot. He's
I
fun,
love
dude.
watching
He's
him,
electric.
man.
There's so many fun baseball players right now, which is cool.
Yep. It's pretty sweet.
And then Stephon Diggs trade.
Dude, it's wild. It was directly after we talked about him on the Bills last week.
Yeah, because we were talking about like where we think the skill positions rank. And obviously we had said Bills second with him in mind.
Yeah, man. They definitely not second anymore.
So this deal, it's interesting because obviously you got the dead cap hit. It's not the actual money, it's just the dead cap. So this year they're taking a beating with what they can do salary cap wise. It seemed like things were just rocky with him in Buffalo. And that's the only thing that makes sense about this deal. Because even if they had held on till, what was it, July to do the deal, it would have been significantly less of a cap hit. And obviously, like if you know you don't want someone and you get a deal, you got to just capitalize on it when you get it.
Yeah.
And then from the Houston standpoint, they eliminated the final 3 years of his contract. So now he's going to be a free agent at the end of the next year. I don't know what's going on, but it's fascinating.
Why did they do that, you think?
I wonder if it was like on both sides where they don't have to commit to him. If it doesn't work out, he can go back to the market as a free agent.
Dude, Houston is loaded.
They're looking real good.
They went from the worst team in the NFL to a legitimate contender in a 1 year period.
And I love CJ Stroud now. I was wrong about him. I think he's going to be a good quarterback. But D'Amico Ryans does not get enough love in this. Like
I think he gets some pretty good love, man. I've seen some.
He gets
some good stuff about him.
I'm not saying that people are against him. I'm just saying like I don't think he gets enough praise for what he's been doing there. I don't think CJ Stroud is at all who CJ Stroud became last year without D'Amico. Like to me, it's crazy he didn't win Coach of the Year or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that is a little ridiculous because he totally turned that program around.
Obviously, the Browns had a lot going on, and it was still impressive what they did. But the Texans, man, like he 0 or second to the bottom of the league to where they are now. It's nuts. But
They really capitalized on getting rid of Deshaun.
Yep.
Crazy how that works.
And maybe the Browns wouldn't have had to go through as much if they just didn't pick up Deshaun.
The Browns would still have Baker if they were smart, and
Not wrong.
with where they were going, they were doing pretty well, man.
The guy that's in that clip to Christian, that'd get him fired up. Loves Baker.
Dude,
He's fun.
I love Baker too, man.
Dude, he's fun. You know who I love
He's
more
balling.
than Baker right now, though? Is
Who's that?
Dawn the GOAT Staley.
Dawn.
Can I say that we have a
He's a
dynasty at
beast.
South Carolina? Is it too soon to say that? 3 championships in 6-7 years?
Absolutely not too early.
Yes, let's
It
go.
is a dynasty.
It's a dynasty in
dude.
Columbia.
3 championships? And they're there. They're always there.
Dude, here's what's nuts about it. And this is the claim of why she is insane. That we lost 1 game in the last 2 years with 5 WNBA players leaving last year?
Yeah, dude. That's the crazy part.
And then not only do we have depth last year that covered it, but this year in the championship game, our bench outscores Iowa 37-0. Not only did she rebuild the starters, rebuilt the bench, rebuilt the culture.
She can recruit. The players seem like they love her.
I know. And she adapted, which is cool. Like,
yeah.
There was a lot of stuff about how she had mentioned early on that it felt like almost daycare early on. And she was like, you got to coach these people different. But she's able to adapt and still create the same culture where players are selfless. They don't mind playing in different roles. They can like step up for each other. Dude, she better never leave.
And I love that this is happening when women's basketball is getting big. It's the biggest women's basketball has ever been. And South Carolina is on top, baby.
No. Everyone's excited to watch Caitlin Clark come in. And it was awesome when she had 18 points in the first quarter. But then South Carolina steps up, hold her to 12. And here's the favorite thing. The reason why is because South Carolina was just too big, too fast, too deep. That is always our problem against us. It's like we're talking about football season. It's like we just don't have the size. We can't compete about anything. And we had something where now we are the juggernauts.
We are the team to beat. It's true. We don't get to say that very often. Let's go. The only other time that's felt like this is in baseball in 2010, 2011.
So is she going to become AD, take over for Ray? Ray comes back to being a baseball coach?
Be cool with me. Be super cool with me. Dude. I don't know how he would do at this point in his career as a baseball coach, but he could probably still do it.
I think I've mentioned this on the podcast, but I've got to mention it again. I should look up the statistic. It was something like when he would go out and talk to a batter, either mid at bat or like someone on deck, their batting average went up. It sounds crazy, but I want to say like 200 points.
Yeah. I think I have heard that stat before, and I think it was me listening to you talk on here before I was on.
I love it. Got it. Dude, he was one of my favorites. Anyway, Dawn Staley is the GOAT.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, she's a beast. The GOAT is Gino from UConn, who has 11 championships, which that's tough to catch.
Yeah, but Dawn as a player too. And
right.
Came in and built a franchise, a dynasty at South Carolina. Now
she's got ways to go before she's the GOAT. But I mean, she's awesome.
The halfway GOAT.
The halfway GOAT. She's one of the best to ever do it. That's certainly true. I think she's 4th or 5th in championships as a women's coach.
A legend.
Tied for 4th. Huh?
She's a legend.
Yeah, legend. I thought you said 11th. I was like,
no. She's a legend.
Doesn't sound right. We also need to bring up Raven Johnson, who went 1 for 11 in the game, but that doesn't even matter because when she was guarding Caitlin Clark for the second or the last 3 quarters, Caitlin Clark only had 12 points, and Raven Johnson had 4 steals on her, which is unheard of against Caitlin Clark.
Yeah,
she shut her down.
Dude, this was
12 points in
game.
3 quarters is respectable for most players, not for Caitlin Clark there.
Obviously, like at the end of the game, it was sealed, and she was just like trying to hit crazy shots. But even like towards the end, it looked like she was starting to get rattled. Like didn't have the vision for passes anymore as much.
She was just getting ripped, which is awesome. I love to see that. Like I respect what Caitlin Clark did this year.
Yeah,
but it was time people started talking about South Carolina, who was undefeated. Like, come on now.
Before the UConn game, saying that UConn and Iowa were the best 2 teams or something like that. Like this is the real game. That's crazy.
Yeah, get out of here.
We
can't even get respect when we deserve respect most of the time. So,
dude, I will say about Caitlin Clark though, and this isn't even salty, but like, do you see the clip of her pushing off before?
I did. I think it was a push off. I think it was also a flop.
I like to move the push off. That's awesome. You do whatever. But they were calling anytime in the first quarter anyone got near her, and then she could get away with murder.
It did feel like that. Maddening. So like in any other scenario, I wouldn't be that aggravated about that push because it really wasn't that bad. Mm-hmm. But every time somebody got near her, she was getting a foul call in the first quarter.
Yeah.
I really thought they were going to throw the game because of that.
I know. A storyline. But all in all, we were just too big, too fast, too strong, too Dawn Staley-ish to be held back, and I love that. UConn, though, they did get the championship in men's going back to back. I turned the game off halfway through. I went to bed. I was like, it's late, starting at 9, which was dumb. it was boring at that point. It's all UConn. Beginning,
Yep.
Edie looked pretty good. Had that yammed on Klingon.
Yeah, he did. He's just so tall, man. I thought Klingon played a really good game against him for the most part, but Edie's just so
Well, they're both like
big.
I think they might both be 6'4", or is Klingon 6'2", or 7'2", not 7'4".
7. He's 2 inches shorter than Edie.
So he's 7'2", I guess.
Is Edie 7'4" or 7'6"?
I thought that Klingon was 7'4", but I looked it up. Yeah, no, he's 7'2", and then Edie's 7'4".
Edie's 7'4". Yeah, I knew it was a 2-inch difference, which is,
Yeah,
ultimately not that much. But I thought Klingon played a pretty decent game against Edie. Purdue didn't have anything except Edie, though.
no.
That was the big thing. And I had Purdue losing second round in my bracket, which if I wouldn't have done that, I probably would have done pretty well in our bracket challenge.
I mean,
What
totally.
did do you know what you ended up?
Like 400 something. I didn't get a Final Four team right.
We had 400 in our bracket.
No. Oh, I thought you meant like total points. I was like
Like ranked?
130th,
How many do we have? 135.
160. Caitlin
I was
was
18.
locked up at last. Well, there's one person who didn't fill out a bracket, and then I think by round of 32, she had clinched last and couldn't get any more points. You were 18th?
Yeah, I was 18th, so I'll take it. I think if I would have had NC State win one more game, which initially I did, I think I would have been pretty close to top 5, but it didn't. So, oh well.
We'll say I put up on the undrafted story and haven't checked the messages so someone could have responded. And if not, and if you're listening, you respond here. ESPN bracket, like I mentioned the other week, it's weird. Can't tell the email addresses. Can't tell whose brackets is whose. So if you were one of the first 2 brackets, just DM us a screenshot of it, and I'll get you that gift card. So
And
just
don't lie because we are watching.
Yeah. Also, that's what the screenshot's for.
Huge. All right. Got a little game for us based on the UConn's crazy back-to-back tournament run. So I'm going to read a stat, and you're going to tell me whether it's over or under the actual number.
Ooh. I like
So over this year's tourney,
this. Okay.
UConn's average margin of victory was over or under 23 points.
Over.
Yeah. 23.3
That's
points.
I was thinking when you
Average
said that,
margin of
I was like, it's got to be around there because Alabama was like their closest game up until
Yeah.
this point.
Right.
Yeah.
Wild.
Wild.
That's a crazy stat. That's the largest margin of victory of all time for a single tourney run.
Nut.
They were just dominant. The amount of time trailed, over or under 5 minutes for the entire tournament.
So I'm just going to keep rolling under.
And it was slightly over. It was 6 minutes and 22 seconds for the entire tournament. That's how long they trailed.
Was that
most
of
they
game
trailed-
time or of real time?
It was game time.
Because I also wouldn't be surprised if it was 6 minutes
Right.
of real time in there.
Yeah, I think they were down by maybe 6 or 7 at one point max, but it never got to double digits. And then we got over the last 2 NCAA tournaments, so this year and last year, was their margin of victory over or under 12?
Over the last 2 tournaments?
Yep, so the 2 tournaments that they just won, they didn't lose a single game in either, was their average margin of victory over or under 12?
I'm going to go with over if they had 23.5 or 23.3 this year.
Yeah, it was 13. So their average margin of victory last tournament wasn't super high, obviously. I guess we could do the quick maths there, and that would be,
Like single digits.
yeah, somewhere in single digits. A historic run back-to-back. And the second tournament of that back-to-back was the most dominant in terms of margin of victory ever, which is wild.
You and only you, no one else. No one said this, but it was their tournament to lose.
Yeah, I don't think anybody else picked UConn to win.
Dude, it's crazy. You saw it. Just like I saw South Carolina, it just turned out that you were right. It's crazy.
It's crazy. I know, but man, they were just so good.
I love that.
Hats off to them. 6 in 24 years since 1999, 25 years.
Crazy. 25 years.
Nuts.
6 and 25. A blue blood. One of the best. Probably the best right now. Best dynasties. Also, hats off to the hardest geezer. We've been teeing it all episode. But the dude finished it. He's 27 years old. I didn't realize this. I was looking at a map. I thought he just ran straight up, which would have been nuts because you're running through some crazy parts of Africa. But he did the essentially entire west coast of it. So he does over 10,000 miles.
10,000?
10,000 miles, 16 countries, 352 days. So we ran nearly a marathon every day for 350 days. It began in South Africa on April 22nd and then of 2023, and then finished in Tunisia on April 7th, 2024. Total steps, over 19 million. Dude, this guy. So he goes the route, South Africa, Namibia, Angola, Democratic Republic of Congo, Cameroon, Nigeria, Benin, Togo, Ghana, Ivory Coast, Guinea, Senegal, Mauritania, Algeria. I love how I'm trying to like do the map with my hand as I'm talking about this, then finish this in Tunisia. Nice. Potentially, we might have a little travel stuff in one of those countries. Potentially.
And we're not going to take 19 million steps.
No. Obstacles. The man, obviously, as Trey mentioned, had an armed robbery in Angola, food poisoning, a back injury, a visa issue in Algeria. I saw that he like made a video of that. It got, I think, 11 million views and was able to get it resolved.
Dang. We just need to get a visa issue and get 11 million views.
And run Africa. That helps with the views too.
You know.
Gives a little cred. Man, he ran through rainforest, across mountain ranges, traversed the Sahara, whatever you want to call it.
Sahara.
Do you say Sahara or Sahara? I say both, and I never know which one I should say.
I'm always saying Sahara. Don't care if it's right or wrong.
Dude, have you ever seen that movie?
Nope.
Classic. Matthew McConaughey.
Ooh.
It's a good one.
Never seen it.
It's a fun one. He finished, and everyone was cheering. Geezer, and then he jumped in the sea. Telling the Sky News, I'm a little bit tired.
That sounds like a Forrest Gump line.
Geezer.
I'm a little bit tired. Why does he go by the hardest geezer? Why is he a geezer?
Yeah, because he's 27.
When I initially heard this, I thought he was like 60 plus.
Same.
Maybe we need to get him on here and ask why his nickname is the hardest
I would love
geezer.
to get him on here and ask that.
Geezer. He's British, right?
Yes.
I might have just made that up.
No, I'm pretty sure he is.
The British people do stuff like this, I think.
You remember the like Joe Rogan episode you had sent me a while ago of the guy who swam around?
Ross Edgley.
Yeah, he's British, right?
Yes, that's exactly who I'm thinking of. Dude swims all the way around Great Britain with never touching dry land. He slept in a boat.
Talking about his tongue like disintegrating because of all the salt water, swimming right by whirlpools.
Right. He was getting like sucked into whirlpools. He had rhino neck, which is like where your neck is just like, it turns into like rhino skin because it's rubbing on your wetsuit so much. And the sea around Great Britain is not like a safe place to be.
No. That's kind of awesome.
British people can do anything in the world
except
step foot on American soil and win. It's crazy. It's crazy. They're invincible until you get to America. Then they're definitely not. Come conquer America. But it's nuts. Why did they decide to do this? But it is awesome.
Dude, I mean, it's not even his first one. He has run from Istanbul to London before. He was buried alive for a week. And For a week. And ran the fastest marathon pulling a car.
Dude, who is this man? We got to get him on here. Dude, I have a lot of questions. First off, we need to know more about buried alive for a week.
Yeah. I assume there's like a tube or something going down to a coffin would be my guess.
Yeah, but why would you do that?
I don't like that. Maybe you find inner peace.
No way, dude. You're gonna
inner anxiety.
Imagine the cramps. Imagine how much. I hope the coffin was big enough to like turn around and roll over. Yeah, can't even roll over in your coffin.
What about the number twos? The number ones and the number twos.
Oh, dude. I didn't think about that. Is
you get a colostomy bag and something else? I don't know. You're the medical professional.
Even if you have that stuff.
According to himself, before he took off, he's a totally normal bloke. So I guess by bloke, he's saying totally normal, insane, kind of awesome British person. So if I can do this, hopefully people can apply this to their own lives in whichever way they choose. For 99% of people, it's not going to be running across Africa, but it might look like chasing their dreams a bit more, which is awesome. That gets me fired up.
That's inspiring.
Definitely way more than 99% of people won't do that, because that would be 1 in 100. And no.
Right. Right. Well, it's hard to say 99.9.
999 repeating to the 700th power or whatever.
I knew we were talking about him on this episode, and I actually ran across the neighborhood before this episode. So
Ooh, you hit 26
it did
miles?
get me a little fired up. Watch out. Training.
It was also apparently the toughest challenge of his life, he said.
I would hope so. I hope he hasn't had to conquer anything bigger than this yet.
This is actually, I pulled a couple quotes that I've seen from articles. I'm going to read them because they're pretty sweet. Like I said,
Yeah.
this stuff gets me so fired up. Like we were saying, it might inspire people to chase their dreams a little bit more. But he was also saying, toughest in my life, but an immense honor. We met incredible people in every single country we've been to that have welcomed us with love and kindness. The human spirit is a beautiful thing. Very grateful for these experiences, and would definitely encourage anyone out there to go get after that adventure, whatever it looks like for you. That's awesome. Gets me fired up. That's what we're trying to do. Oh, so then in Nigeria, I forgot to talk about this. On day 200, he reduced his mileage on doctor's advice because he took like a couple days to get scans, and there were no bone damage. So he figured the only option left was to stop mincing like a little weasel, get the strongest painkillers available, and zombie stomp road again. I don't know what that means, but that sounds awesome.
That sounds like
Sounds British.
get the strongest painkillers available and zombie stomp road again. That doesn't sound safe at all.
Zombie stomp
hey.
road.
Zombie
Dude,
stomp.
the hardest geezer.
White zombie stomp.
What a legend. Yeah, white zombie stomp, the zombie stomp road.
Shout out Catawba Brewing Company. No shout out.
No shout out. But sponsor us.
You can pay us money.
That would be sick. Ooh, should we hit the draft now?
Yeah, draft time.
Yeah, so for those of you who want less sports, we're nearing the end of our football dream team draft. We've got, I guess, secondary and then potentially special teams. They deserve a little bit of love, potentially.
Yeah.
And then at that point, we'll get back to starting mixing things up. Like we mentioned, we might do a cage fight draft. That would be fun.
Yeah, it
that
sounds
would be
sweet.
pretty cool.
That's still kind of sporty, but
Still kind of,
It's
yeah.
all right.
But I'm more meaning like we're not going to stop talking about sports, but just like if it's been like,
No.
dude, you've been doing a football draft every single episode of 2024.
For
I get
2
that.
months.
I get that.
3
We're getting views right now on social media, except for last week, dude, because TikTok has been driving me insane. I posted it, and I think it's because I deleted it. I forgot to do something, posted it back, and then it was not eligible for the For You page because it said unoriginal content, which I've gotten flagged on like few things from it that were original. Then I appeal it, and then it gets overturned. It's fine, but this one's taking forever. So
I was wondering what happened with that.
yeah, super lame. Super lame. But anyway, what's not lame is I get the first pick. This is a formality.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going, obviously, Lawrence Taylor. A bit problematic off the field, but also problematic on the field. I mean, I think it's unanimous that he's the best linebacker of all time.
That's what people say.
What do you mean that's what people say?
I'm going with a stone cold killer.
Oh, I love that.
Give me, well, it's not proven. Give me Ray Lewis.
He just helped out, allegedly.
Yeah. Monster, beast of a man, prime motivator, probably the best motivator in NFL history. Ray Lewis, number one linebacker
From
for
the
me.
second that he walks out of the tunnel, picks up the grass, whatever he's doing.
Oh, dude is trick,
I did a little
Come
homework.
on.
I did some lists, and some people have a Ray Lewis way too low on it. It's ridiculous.
Dude, these lists are crazy. Our list is the only list you need to listen to.
Facts.
Number 2 linebacker, taking a little different approach this time. And it's probably not super high on everybody's list. It might be, though, because I think it should be. I'm going Luke Kuechly. Dude was a wizard on the field. He was always there, had an endless motor. He knew the play you were running before you ran it. So give me Luke Kuechly.
I love that. I was thinking that it might have felt like too much of a reach for you to go there, and then I was going to snag him in mine.
No.
Dude
Yeah.
he might be the best coverage middle linebacker of all time.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I got him. Because I have Ray Lewis. Wanted another. Ray Lewis is a motivator, strong, brute force. Luke Kuechly is just
I mean,
I would say the smartest linebacker I've ever seen play the
and
game.
super physical and fast. Like everyone
Yeah,
talks
I
about
mean,
him.
there's
He's like,
nothing that he's also super physical and is just a stud. He's running up in there, hitting the hole, knocking you out. Not much dude can't do. I think he's slightly underrated. I think it's probably because his career was a little shorter.
yeah, because he had like 8 years, and kudos to him for looking out for his brain. It's a good move, but sad that his career was cut short because he was fun to watch. Those are the three that I like really wanted and had strong attachments to.
Yeah, I knew you were going to
This
take
is-
Luke if I didn't take him.
Open now. I think with my second pick, I've got to go with the OG Mike linebacker, the gold standard. You said that Lawrence Taylor kind of said it, but there's one person who essentially invented the middle linebacker, and that's Dick Butkus. Also a hilarious name.
Yeah,
Obviously, he's got
when you think of a middle linebacker who's not Ray Lewis, it's probably Dick Butkus.
And you've got like the Butkus awards, and you know.
Yeah.
I think he's the right second choice. I'm gonna keep it in Chicago. Maybe not even do the one you want, but they've got, such a great legacy of Bears linebackers. And so I'm gonna go the captain of one of the best defenses, I think, of all time, and that's gonna be Mike Singletary. You thought I was gonna go the other linebacker, didn't you?
Yeah. I did.
I think that Mike Singletary is better than the other linebacker who we can just.
Yeah, I'm going a little recency bias here, and you know what? I'll go ahead and take Brian Urlacher. Give me Brian Urlacher. Dude was a monster, and that is aside from Ray Lewis, the other person I think of as middle linebacker in the modern era of football.
So that's what was tricky to me about this is you have the three people that I've loved watching the most personally. But I'm like, if I look at it and watch clips and things, I'm like, I think that I would rather have Mike Singletary on my team than Bjork with the plugs, the hair plugs.
I don't know, man. I'm going Ray Lewis and Brian Urlacher with that motivation and energy.
And then you got
Luke Kuechly's
Kuechly
wits.
as
I mean,
coverage.
Kuechly gets fired up too, man.
I know you're getting your team.
And I can't believe this man is still on the board. And he's got to be in the easily top 10, maybe top 5 conversation of all time at linebacker. Junior Seau, monster.
He spent a little time on the Dolphins, right?
He did, and that is part of the reason I love him so much.
I was gonna pick him next if that was up. Do we really do alternate drafts? Who goes like more recent players and who goes older players?
Strictly new age guys.
I'm gonna go. Ooh, got to give a nod to the Steelers, right? Jack Lambert. I think that's the move.
Yep.
That's the
I
move.
think that's the move.
So nod to the Steelers with him, and then 4th pick, right? No, 5th pick. This is my last pick. This last pick is tricky for me because I feel like now there's just a lot of linebackers in the same kind of like tier left. Von Miller, I think, could even be in this, but I already have enough of a problematic team with Lawrence Taylor and other stuff going on, so I'm gonna dodge that with Von Miller.
Yeah.
And then I think I'm gonna go Patrick Willis, Niner, recent inductee. Loved watching him. I think that's the right move for me.
He was 6th on my list. So that was the next open spot for me. I'm going Zach Thomas, number 54, anchor of Miami's defense for years. My first jersey growing up. Give me Zach Thomas to finish out my linebacker group.
Dude,
Hall of
linebackers
Famer.
just get me fired up. Sad you got Ray and Luke Kuechly and Brian.
And Junior Seau?
Yeah, Junior Seau's. Well, so he's nasty, but like those three are the ones that I'm more of like, I'm emotionally sad that you got those.
Right.
Junior Seau, I think it wouldn't have been a reach if I got him 2nd or 3rd. Or like first.
I think
it was
he
my
could have
2nd or 3rd.
easily been 2nd or 3rd.
I just went with Mike Singletary and Dick Butkus, but dude, was nasty. He fell way too far in the draft, honestly.
Who did?
Junior
Mike
Seau.
Singletary. Oh, Junior Seau. Yeah.
But
Yeah, totally different drafts here. New age versus old age. That's
I
how
like
it's
it,
been
though.
every time. Yeah.
yeah, it just rotates. We go back and forth.
And I'm pumped to get Zach Thomas, man. Still remember my 54 jersey. Same color. It was this jersey, except with the 54.
Dude, 52, 54, 59 up in the middle. Ooh. Ooh.
Dude, I'm pumped on my team. Let's go. So much testosterone there. Let's go.
I think my team might be better, but I personally like your team more.
I'm taking my team, dude. I think all-time great talk, your team, but if it's like actually on the field play, I'm taking my team.
Well, yeah, if it's on the field play in 2024, yeah,
That's what we're doing, right?
Yeah. Well, we got some geezers out there. The
hardest geezer.
Oh.
Good draft, though. Good draft. I think we
This is
got some
fun.
good linebackers off the board. It's kind of tough with linebackers. There's a lot of good ones.
Tough. A lot of good
I'm
ones.
sure we forgot somebody that somebody's going to have an aneurysm.
Conniption about. I love it, though.
Right. And it's probably going to be either Derek Brooks, James Harrison, or Von Miller, or Terrell Suggs, or DeMarcus Ware.
It's always a funny thing because someone will comment one thing early on, and then it's just like a bandwagon on it, and everyone's acting like it's their own original idea.
Yeah, this is mine.
But they know they just have a momentum now for it. So
I love how people in the last draft were saying that LT was a lineman. Lawrence Taylor was a lineman. Did you see that?
didn't see that in any of the comments. I mean, he in college he transitioned from lineman to outside linebacker. He could be classified as an edge potentially.
Right. Maybe, but everywhere you look, he's a linebacker.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah, there were on Instagram. There were multiple comments that were like, "No LT, seriously."
That's funny. I didn't see that. Why?
Nope, not.
Wait for the linebackers, dum dums. With
Come
love,
on,
of
man.
course. Only good
With
vibes. Peace. Go ride the dynasty of South Carolina women's basketball.
Woo, go Cox.